Okay, so I'm at City College in mathematics education, and we'll see if I can talk and operate a computer at the same time. We have two programs in math education at City College, one at the adolescent or secondary level and one at the middle school level. And let's see how we do here. Okay. So I just want to give you a little bit of background about our programs before I talk about our experiences. We only are doing the edTPA this spring with our adolescent candidates because of the cycling with our middle school candidates. So I'm going to talk about that. Last spring, we had 13 of the candidates in our clinically rich program, it's a one-year program, participate in the pilot. And like my colleagues over there, we owe them a debt of gratitude. We learned a lot from that pilot. We have 17 of those students in the one-year program completing it this spring, and then we have 5 students who are either undergraduates or part-time who will be completing the pilot in the spring as well. So I want to talk about the opportunities and challenges that we saw with the edTPA. When we first got the handbook, we were really excited to see that it was well aligned with the philosophy of our program. Now, understand that it took us a long time to figure that out, but in fact, it asked our candidates to think deeply about their planning, teaching, and assessment. It asked them to think about developing a community, an environment for learning. It asked them to use students' lived experiences and community assets in their planning. And all of those things were things that we built into our program. And we had 2 major assessments that aligned very nicely with the assessments in the program. So we did have to change the language so that we're using a common language. We argue that we're not teaching to the test because it was well aligned with our assessments, but I suspect that, in fact, we are. And maybe that's a good thing if it's a good assessment. It's also well aligned for us with the Common Core in mathematics because it's promoting the mathematical practices, which is something that we're really interested in. So we were pleased with that as well. But I think most importantly, it helped us identify strengths and areas of needed improvement that have been recognized by the profession. And I'll talk about one of them. We saw in the pilot that we did really well in helping our students plan and reflect on their planning. Their instruction was okay. Obviously, a lot of that had to do with how to video and what to select. But we had some weaknesses in assessment, and our biggest weaknesses were the 2 rubrics that dealt with feedback and helping students use that feedback. So we decided to go back and look at some of the literature on that, and then we built that into our field experiences in the fall. And what we found was that the teachers in the field were also wrestling with that. Some of our partners had actually implemented great strategies for helping students use feedback. And so we took all of that back in and shared that with our other partners. I can tell you that 4 of our students have already submitted and received grades on the edTPA, and their scores on the feedback part are now in the 4 range. So we feel like it's given us an opportunity to look at our program and improvement. The other thing that I like about it is it's provided a common framework for us to work as a school of education across the community, to work with our literacy teachers who are helping us with reading and writing across the curriculum, and our special education teachers, our diversity and foundations faculty members. And so because we have this common language now and we can point to this assessment that was developed by us as professionals, has provided us that opportunity. Challenges. There are many challenges that have been identified here, and obviously they are there for us as well. I mean, it was the time it took for us to understand this portfolio and then ensure that our candidates understand it. So we are building that into our coursework, and it does take time. And it also is important that they recognize the need for permissions and confidentiality with the videotape. And that's something that even their cooperating teachers don't necessarily understand. So we're trying to build all of that work in. Second is that we have to find the time in our program to support the candidates before they go out to student teach and during the development of the portfolio, so that they have the equipment that they need. I mean, our students at City College they can be working part-time. They don't have a lot of money. They can't go out and buy video equipment. They can't ensure that audio works, so we're supporting them there. And then supporting them with, is the clip the right size? And then understanding what kind of support we can give them and what's not appropriate. So we've developed non-credit workshops that the students are taking. They started it before the student teaching semester, and we'll be completing that in a few weeks. We're also trying to help them work as a community to support each other. But that takes the commitment of the faculty and of the administration to ensure that those resources are available. There are other challenges that we don't control, and I think we would really like to work with New York State to see if they can support us. First of all is finding appropriate teaching placements for candidates. We had a school that we worked with very closely for a long time who said, we're not going to allow you to videotape. And so we lost that placement this spring for our candidates. And we need to find cooperating teachers who are going to understand the edTPA. We keep saying in a few years, when everybody's done this, then we'll have a better opportunity to find the kinds of placements that we want. But I'd like to see something done in this era of accountability to encourage schools and teachers to work with college teacher education programs so that our candidates can find the placements they need to be successful on this assessment. And this last one, the big challenge for our students is affordability. This is expensive, especially our part-time students. They're working often during student teaching. They have to give up hours. They're just trying to feed their families and pay the rent. And so this is a prohibitive cost for them when you look at the whole battery of assessments. So that's another issue that I would love to see some of the people who made this policy work on. And is my time up? So that's basically it. I'll turn it over to the next speaker.